Alright, people, I got a case uptown in about 20 minutes, so let's keep this brief. I need Hisette front and center. I need to go over some things with her. She said that there's humans writing a book, and I honestly don't know what's... What? The dweebus. Don't look at me like that. You guys never told me their name. It's not like I've had much time to lounge around the lounge. You tried being a public attorney. You won't. Now, I haven't seen anybody in here with that long of a face in quite a while. So I'm supposing you must be the devil in question. Don't let DJ Dante hear me say that or she'll really let me have it. And I don't have enough time in the world to listen to her when she gets like this. Especially today of all days. You seem off. I mean, to be fair, I've never seen you on, but I guess I've always been kind of intuitive like that. So, who put salt in your Kool-Aid? Speaking of that, I should probably go grab one from the back before I go. No. Serena, Angelina, Contessa, focus. One at a time. Kool-Aid is a reward. Ah, right. The name's Serena. I'm a public attorney. One who works specifically with liminals. I'm sure you've seen the signs. And you've seen the signs because I'm the best. And because I'm the only public attorney willing to work with liminals in the first place. Yeah, it's one thing to have a Catboy cafe, apparently, but another if a Catboy tries to sue the company for exploitative working practices and repeated sexual harassment. Go figure! Right? Of course, the only reason I'm able to work as a public attorney at all and juggle as many cases as I do from all the walks, flights, slivers, and crawls is because the girl's boss pays me a pretty penny to keep things topsy-turvy around here, so I'm sure you get this chick now. Why so glum? Rochelle didn't like your book idea. So you've decided to spend the last 3 days sulking around here. I guess we all make choices. Oh, no. I obviously understand that there's more to it than the bruised ego of the fragile creator. You thought you found an interesting topic to write about, the prevalence of sex work in the lives of liminals, as well as the intricacies of the lives of various liminal species in a world that spiced them so much for being alive, and you cannot understand why in the world anybody would so much as have a problem with such a yarn unless they were some kind of anti-liminal supremacist. But it wasn't. Did I sum up your plight well enough? I get where you're coming from. It's a pretty noble pursuit in its own way. Shining a light on communities that aren't exactly looked upon fondly by proposing an element of intersectionalism. There are people sympathetic to both the problems of sex workers as well as liminals that could encourage support and greater social change across the world as we recognize all kinds of liminals for various things they add to our society, even if not all of them are doctors or lawyers, or anything like that. Kind of like how we can only eradicate homelessness once we realize that even people who aren't working to kick addictions or improve their situations that can be due to a handful of reasons still deserve a place to live and warm food on the table. I get it. I get what you're going for. But I also understand where Rochelle is coming from. I just don't want to hear her lecture me. We go to the same liminal support meetings. I hear enough out of her from those alone. But, onto Rochelle's point in question, it's also incredibly exploitative. Look. Let me just explain this to you in the best way that I can. Are you familiar with Kitchen Nightmares, or Bar Rescue, or shows like it? Just answer the question. I'm going somewhere with this, and I will not be judged by how I spend my downtime after firing on all 4 fins all day. But you're familiar with the premise of a show like Kitchen Nightmares, right? Gordon Ramsay walks in, points out all the problems in a restaurant that are honestly pretty obvious if you're not swaddled in its filth, exploits some family drama for good television, and then the restaurant makes the changes Ramsay asks for, and he leaves the establishment better than he found it as he walks into the sunset as the proud, wandering truth-teller, just telling it like it is. You know the formula. But are you aware that most restaurants that are featured on the show end up closing down? Even before their episodes air, at times. His success rate is less than 20%, but you can always say that the restaurant business is notorious for being flimsy, sure, but think about true crime. Kidnappings and disappearances and murders. A whole branch of entertainment built on the back of tragedy involving real people who lived and died and often died brutally. And their families, their friends, their enemies alike will see no peace. At the moment, you're writing about people, marginalized people, in what one could consider an easily exploitable profession that's always one legality away from falling completely into criminality and ruin. You're taking pictures, and you're writing, not just about their jobs, but their hopes, their dreams, their insecurities, their fears, their relationships, their lovers, etc., etc., etc. You are aware, before you began writing this piece, that the US contains the most liminal clubs in the world, right? You know how many that is? 7. There are 7 liminal clubs in the country, and 4 of them are in our state. 2 of them are only 30 miles apart. Even if you change the names, even if the people you write about change in the years it'll probably take for this to get published. If Aset breaks up with her girlfriend, if our lovely goddess Arachne parts for greener pastures, if Rochelle grows a better mullet, it won't matter at all. If somebody is determined enough to find us, find them, they'll find them. Doesn't matter if they're 2 miles away or 20,000. And I have reason to believe that they're more likely to be in danger than not. And I have the case files to prove it. Now, I never said your book in theory was a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just giving you the data I have available to me. Facts, statistics, things of that ilk. And the fact of the matter is that you're writing the story not with non-humans as an expected audience, but as an object of spectacle. And I don't need to read a single page of prose to figure that out. Otherwise, you would have realized all this far sooner and have countermeasures set up to combat at best mild insensitivity and at worst active threats of violence. Of course, this is simply a surface level viewing. I could do more with the piece if given some actual time to take a look at your work, but you would need to book an actual meeting with me to actually do so. I like to keep my work life clean and separate, and I can't have you asking for my criticism on my off 20 minutes. I guess Aset's really not coming then. I swear, at times like these I can't tell who's the real bird brain between the 3 of them. I can say that, not you. Know your place. Here, take my card. I don't generally work with humans, but you seem to be operating in choppy waters. Ones that I'm willing to dive in. Half out of pure masochism, so please, keep that in mind. I know. A seashell, right? What a funny little gimmick. My intern said it would be a good way of reminding my clients of my non-human status, as I can often pass as human in conventional society. I guess this is kind of a way of proving that I'm not above my roots, or something like that. She's a little on the daft side, but she wrote the cards in her own blood, sweat, and ink, so who am I to deny her the creative liberty? I'm just kidding. That would be incredibly unsanitary.